Namaste and welcome to our Sunday edition of Words of Wisdom Gyan Ganga on our Virat Hindustan Sangam various social media channels. Sorry, last Sunday due to logistic reasons and Dr. Swami's travel, we could not do a program, but we are back as usual at 8 p.m. today to another interesting topic. The topic is lawlessness in Tamil Nadu, attack on Hindu temples, the governor, and our national identity. And for this discussion, we have with us three important guests besides our President, Dr. Subramanian Sawmy. We have Madam Chandralekha, a former IAS officer from Tamil Nadu, the first woman collector, and who is also the president of Virat Hindustan Sangam Tamil Nadu unit. We have Dr. M.R. Venkatesh, a CA turned lawyer and who has been on the forefront on numerous debates and an author of numerous books. And also we have Sree Iyer, the man behind P Guru, the author of numerous books, who is based in the US but now visiting India. And we welcome our three guests to our show. I also have to thank my co-host, Professor Arvind Chaturvedi from Delhi, and also Ramesh Swamy for hosting this program together every Sunday. I also have to thank my technical team, our technical team led by Ashish Shetty, Tejas Navalgul, Swaminathan, Ishwar Iyer, Rakesh Gadgi, and also Ajesh Nair from Kerala for their background support every Sunday to put this weekly program before you audience, which is watched in more than 120 countries across the globe. And we thank our viewers for their support for this program. So without much time, I will ask Dr. Swamy to start this discussion for the information of our viewers. You can always go to our website www.vhsindia.org to register yourself as members, and also go to YouTube anytime after the program, during the program, or anytime during the week to watch the same program and our past episodes. Today is the 154th episode in the series of programs we have to enlighten the masses on various topical issues that confront India. So with these words, it is over to Dr. Subramanian Sawmy to start the discussion on the lawlessness in Tamil Nadu, attack on Hindu temples, the governor, and then our national identity. Over to Dr. Sawmy.
Thank you, Jagdish. The state of law and order in the state of Tamil Nadu is a matter now causing worry to a lot of people. There has been a series of incidents. We don't have the time to take on every one of them in this particular session. But I would like to start by saying that two major events have disturbed the people of Tamil Nadu very much. And I would also like you to know that much less disturbances were caused by anti-national forces in 1991 January, when I was minister and Mr. Chandralekha was prime minister. And we dismissed the DMK government, which had 2/3 majority. And it went before the courts, and the courts upheld our thing that the job of the center in a unitary state, which is ours, is not a federal state. There's all this nonsense that goes on that we are a federal state. We are not a federal state. We have some federal principles like independent, assemblies and so on. But the overriding fact is that the center can overrule the states on matters of national security. And in that issue, on that background, I would like to say that what is happening in today's Tamil Nadu is very, very disturbing to people, and particularly the extremist elements who are found in are in partnership with the DMK. They are on the forefront of doing this. We have had this recent incident of the Ayodhya, some institution where pujas were taking place inside, and the government has grabbed it. They were pending issue of the pujaris, where my Supreme Court is about to hear my petition very soon. It's going to be listed, and where untrained people have been made pujaris at the whims of the state government, and the state government continued lordship over the temples of Tamil Nadu is in violation of the Supreme Court judgment in the Savanayaka Nataraj temple, which case I won in 2014. So in this background, what has happened to the governor is an extremely serious matter, and the way it has been dealt with is even more serious. So let me begin by saying the governor had gone, according to the letter of complaint written by the ADC to the governor, to the Director General of Police. He said that we had gone we had accepted an invitation for a function in Mailadurai, and on the way as we reached the place, we found people with black flags, and then they stopped the car, and they managed to stop the car. It's very surprising. The governor's car cannot be stopped, and they, started raising ugly slogans, beating the car with the poles, etc. Now, the issue today is not that the incident's bad. What is the state government doing about seeing that such things don't happen by punitive action against those who did it? So here, I would like to tell you that an FIR was registered, but it was registered late, and you can see it here. The incident happened at 8:30 in the morning, I think, and the FIR was registered only at 6 o'clock in the evening. So why was this delay there? And what does the FIR say? Now you see right at the top, you see the sections which the FIR lists. And I have got the Indian Penal Code, and they're all weak sections. The section that should have been there, and which the governor's ADC's letter had already pointed out that it should be there in their complaint, that I will read out to you, is so specific that there should have been the item, it should have been the crime number, I mean the section which should have been taken up first. And that says assaulting, section 124 of the IPC says assaulting the president, comma, governor, etc., with intent to compel or restrain the exercise of any lawful power. It was their lawful power, having the governor's lawful power to having received an invitation and accepted, and he was stopped from performing his role, which was to inaugurate a session. And it goes on to say that the assault or wrongly restrains or attempts wrongly to restrain or overawes by means of criminal force or the show of criminal force, just merely the show of criminal force, which was clearly there, and attempts so to overcome, etc., shall be punished with the imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 7 years, and shall also be liable to fine. Now, these sections that have been listed, if you go take the Indian Penal Code and go through it, they are all weak sections. And some are 6 months, some are 1 week. The whole thing is ridiculous when a governor, who is the constitutional authority, he is a representative of the central government. His convoy is stopped by whom? If you go down to the bottom of the list, if please, of this page, you go right to the bottom of the page, there will be the names of those who were involved. What does it say? It says CPIM District Secretary. No, not a worker of the CPIM. CPIM District Secretary. Then Tandai Periyar Dravida Karagam, which is an anti-national organization and a more extreme one than the original one, the Periyar created Dravida Karagam. This is a breakaway group which is wholly supportive of the LTTE even today, and all hostile physical actions against the Brahmin community and upper caste in general. That is the Tandai Periyar Dravida Karagam. Then you go down and it says some methane, something, some thing. But the more important one is VCK, which is Tirumavaran's organization. And Tirumavaran, I believe, is now in parliament. And for a person of that, whose organization comes there, does this, and he's supposed to, Tirumavaran is supposed to have taken the oath of being a member of parliament, saying, I'll uphold the constitution, and exactly the opposite is happening. So, in this context, I will say that Section 124 should have been included, not being excluded, not being included, in fact, being excluded is in fact a deliberate attempt to play down this incident and let go the culprits free. And I would say that if the Tamil Nadu government doesn't rectify this, this should be appealed in the high courts, and a CBI inquiry should be ordered into the whole in the matter. It is the responsibility of the state to protect the governor, and the governor was not protected, and the state had failed to do that, and so the center takes over its responsibility of its nominee, its agent, so to speak, in the state, and they should the center itself should order. You don't even have to go to court, in my opinion. The center itself should order a CBI inquiry into the whole matter, and this is what I feel. And I would like to hear what my colleagues would like to say. We are all Tamilians here who have come as experts, and so let us see what the people who are experienced people in our panel today say about the whole incident, including other issues where the Hindu religion is being targeted by the DMK government. Over to you, Jagdish.
Mrs. Chandralekha, ma'am, you can start. You can start.
Madam Chandralekha can give us some inside view. I think Dr. Sawmy, viewers want to know how did you get this FIR when their website is being totally pulled down? Can you tell our viewers how did you get this? How did you get this website? How did you get the FIR when I believe some top-ranking government people are not able to access this FIR? It would be very interesting.
I first asked the governor's house, and I was told that this is being treated by the DMK government as secret and sensitive and should not be given. The FIR should not be given. I've never heard of this. This is totally against the IPC. It's laughable in any court to say an FIR is secret. FIR is supposed to make clear what the police is doing. So then what did I do? I called up Chandralekha and I asked her, you've been a collector. Your father was a distinguished police official at the highest rank, and you must now know whether you can obtain an FIR. She said, why obtain? I'll get it for you. When 2 hours later, it had arrived on my computer. So I thank her for having done that.
Good, ma'am.
Madam Chandralekha, please go ahead.
Namaskar to everybody. Actually, getting this FIR was a very interesting process. When I sent someone to the police station, one of our VHS district secretaries, Ashok Kumar, the police got very frightened and they told him, why do you want to put us into trouble? So we can't give it to you. And they said, we have already sent it to the court. Actually, they had not sent it to the court because Ashok Kumar asked for it. Only after that, even the papers were submitted to the court. So Ashok Kumar went to the court, and from the court, we obtained this FIR.
So, go ahead.
All this attack on the governor, and earlier when the governor had invited, he was holding a party to celebrate the Tamil New Year's Day. The entire cabinet didn't attend the party thrown by the governor, and which is not a dumb thing at all. whatever may be their grievances against the governor, they should have respected that office. They didn't do it. And then comes this incident of attack on the governor. Now, why they are doing this is because the DMK government wants to deflect or divert attention from their massive failure in implementation of the various unimplementable promises which are given to the people at the time of the elections. Their manifesto gave so many assurances, but none of them have been fulfilled till date. So naturally, the people are very upset about this. Therefore, they don't want people to talk about it, so they have deflected it through these means. They are doing it. Now, what are the many promises? First, they said, for every woman, we will give 1,000 rupees a month. So far, nothing has been done. Then they said, when the previous government, the DMK government, for Pongal, they gave 2,000 rupees per card. So Mr. Stalin said, 2,000 rupees is too little money. When we come to power, we'll give 5,000 rupees. But this Pongal, January, no 5,000, even 2,000 people didn't get, leave alone 5,000 rupees. Then they said that women can travel free on all the state government run buses. So women were very happy. But now what has happened is, if 20 buses are running, only in one bus these women can get in. And that is not specifically for women. Anybody can get in. Men also can get in, but only, the women don't have to pay the fare. That's all. So that is also a bogus promise, which had not been, the true sense, it had not been implemented. Then they said in the manifesto that whatever jewel loans had been given to the farmers, all of them will be wiped out. The people don't have to pay off those loans. They will be written off. Now what they have done is, this jewel loan, only up to 5 acres of land will be given. Those who have taken 6 acres of land, who have taken a jewel loan, for them this will not apply. Then now there is a huge power cut, and the government doesn't have the money because they are not able to get the coal. Coal is available which is waiting for them at the Paradip port, but they are not able to bring it because there is a massive coal shortage. And people are experiencing about 78 hours of power cut continuously every day, particularly in the night. Now, why this attack on the governor is, about 12 bills have been sent to the governor for his assent. NEET and so many other things. But actually, though they have been talking about NEET is not the real problem, because in NEET, actually, because of NEET now, the children who are studying in government schools have been able to get seats in the medical colleges and able to pay very little fees. The government fixed fees they are able to pay because of the 7.5% reservation that was given to the children coming through the government schools by the previous government. One of the main bills which the DMK wants is regarding the cooperative societies election. Now, the cooperative societies elections, to cooperative societies means loan, so many things a cooperative society can do, the milk societies and so many other societies. So it gives a lot of power in the hands of the office bearers of the cooperative society. These elections were held in 2018, and those who have been elected have a 5-year term. Now, DMK, one of the bill is that they want to bring down the duration of the 3 years, that the period they want to cut it down from 5 to 3, so that they can hold elections, and by rigging they can bring in their own people into positions of power, because actually DMK had not been in power for a long time, for the last 10 years, and previously when NGR was alive also they couldn't come to power at all. And Jayalalitha's power period also for 10 years, the ADMK was in power. So naturally, the cadres are very upset and they want to be in some position so they can make money. Why only the family should make money? We should also make money. So they wanted these cooperative elections. So that also governor is holding up. And governor has asked certain questions on all these 12 bills, for which the government is not ready to give an answer. So this is the main problem they have. These are the main issues. And regarding the anti-Hindu activity, recently in a government school, many government schools in Kanyakumari district, The teachers are telling the children, Bible is very good, Gita is very bad. You should all read Bible. You should become Christians. If you read Bible and become a Christian, you can get very good marks. But if you pray to Hindu gods, you will all fail. This is being done by all the government teachers. They are in government schools. And after this was brought to notice, of course, Stalin gave a wishy-washy reply saying, okay, we will take an action. But without the encouragement of the government, this wouldn't have happened. So also, Ayodhya Mandapam is not a temple. Ayodhya Mandapam is a kind of a prayer hall where people congregate, they have pravachanams, they have spiritual discourses, and mainly for the Brahmin community, after the last rites, I mean, after 13, 14 days, you have to do various rituals and all that. So these are all conducted there. And the government took over. And and many other temples who are run by a particular caste, they are all being targeted. They have been given notice because the government wants to take over so that their own people can be put as EOs and other things can happen and they can loot those institutions. So these are the various things that are happening. Generally, law and order is always a problem when DMK comes to power. In fact, during this governor's attack, even the chief minister had the audacity to say, why did this happen during the ADMK regime? Wasn't Chenna Reddy heckled and wasn't acid thrown on Chandralekha? But acid was thrown on Chandralekha. They made it an issue. And in the constituency in which I contested, Karnanidhi didn't even have the magnanimity to leave the seat to me. And putting my poster, acid scarred face, he was asking for vote. Chandralekha has been attacked, so vote for DMK. When Chandralekha was standing as a candidate in the same constituency as a Janata Party candidate. So this is the level of hypocrisy. So even assuming that Jayalalitha did it doesn't mean that doesn't make what she made a mistake. So I can also commit insult a governor. That's not a right answer. So it's high time some government of India takes certain action against these people because a lot of anti-India, anti-national activities are taking place. Even all these ministers and others are calling India not. Dr. Sawmy was saying India is a unitary state with a few federal this thing. No, but these guys are saying the India is not a federation, not a unitary state, but it's a confederation. Undriya means confederation. So they should remember once upon a time when talking about India, Tamil Nadu should become a separate state. What happened to Annadurai and Hannu was threatened by the then government. So it's high time that this government is put in place. These are my opening remarks. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity given.
Dr. M.R. Venkatesh.
Yeah. So good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to share the screen along with Dr. Sawmy, Madam Chandralekha, and of course my good friend Sree Iyer. The DMK party, by its genetic composition, lends itself for lawlessness. That is its very nature. In the sense, it can't live. You can't make a lion herbivorous. You can't make a cow carnivorous. Likewise, you can't make the DMK do anything which is lawful. And the very structure of the party, the mentality of the party, and the very idea and ideology that drives the party makes it completely prone to lawlessness. But there is something very interesting that has happened the last couple of days in the city of Chennai, which I would like to flag off. All of us recall Sathangulam incident when two people were brutally assaulted within the police station and they died, succumbed to the injuries. Likewise, an incident has happened in Chennai a couple of days back. Unfortunately, this has happened at a time when DMK is in power. And last time when it happened when the ADMK was in power, and the media, and rightly so, all of us rightly outraged, the media outraged, everybody outraged. But this time around, there's almost hardly any coverage in any newspapers or even local channels. Everybody has been trying to hush it up for reasons best known to them. Even political parties, I'm told that the guy who has been assaulted and killed within the police station is a Dalit. And the VCK is remarkably silent about it. The Communist Party, which is supposed to champion human rights, is silent about it. So this is about the state of law and order in the city, much less in the rural areas. But what happened to the governor in a state where the governor feels unsafe? You can just think of what will happen to the illiterates and the poor and those who don't have any voice. Chandralekha ji flagged off a series of issues which the DMK feels is pending before the governor. And a couple of days back, I was in the High Court, and one of the main issues that was being argued before the first bench was that Nalini's vidudalai, or probably they are asking for Nalini and Peralagan's Perarivalan's shall I say parole, or probably even see that the entire sentence is commuted and she's let out. That was the argument being put in, and one of the stumbling blocks is the governor, according to the arguments made before the first bench. But I have a larger question here. See, after the Bombay judgment, virtually Article 356 has become an ornamental piece in the Constitution. It has lost its sting and zest. It was overused, abused, misused, but now it has become a relic. It has become a relic of the 80s and 90s. It's no longer having that potency that it should have. And the governor being the agent of the central government, the central government cannot be also looking at it supinely indifferent and just count the stars. I think there is a duty cast on the central government, and they must ensure that the governor's physical safety is ensured and the dignity of the office is protected. And for which probably the central government, Dihor's what I'm talking about, probably maybe having a contextual reference to what is currently happening in Tamil Nadu. But the central government must also think of ensuring to make Article 356 far more operational than what it is today. Judgment of Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court in Bombay judgment has virtually made it impossible for any central government, provided only in certain extreme conditions, having majority in both the houses of the parliament, then only you can start looking at 356. Why do I say this? Supposing I throw a stone at, say, Sree Iyer's car, that is breakdown of law. But if the police refuses to file an FIR against me for throwing a stone at Mr. Iyer's car, that is breakdown of law and order. Now in Tamil Nadu, we are used to breakdown of law. That is acceptable, that is understandable, if not acceptable. But what is happening when the governor of the state, against whom there is a specific provision, as Dr. Sawmy rightly pointed out, section 124 of IPC, the police now has registered a series of IPC crimes, much of which I was just referring to the book as Dr. Sawmy was speaking. All of these are maximum punishable for 6 months, 1 month, probably bailable within the police station under section 436 of the CRPC, is all station bail ones. Not the one which will attract cognizable offences, not the one which is serious, not the one which will actually threaten the people with the process of law. This is all basically using, chastising people and saying, chalo, chalo, chalo. But the same police which can show so much of aggression on a poor Dalit guy and kill him in the city of Chennai, and is refusing to even cognize these serious offences against the governor, the first citizen of the state. So you can see the contrast that is coming out. You can see the entire breakdown of law and order machinery in the state. And as Chandralekha ji rightly pointed out, the promises of Stalin, I think the eternal credit of Stalin and DMK, they have become unpopular within weeks of being elected. That is their unparalleled, the ability to become unpopular within such a short time is unmatched anywhere in India. So they have broken their promises. They have now the state is staring at some sort of a fiscal emergency. Freebies have been promised, they have not been able to deliver. So the only place they can loot and actually run some sort of administration is the temples. Even the temple trustee appointment is running into rough weather. The High Court of Madras is frowning on the manner in which the trustees are being appointed, and they are also looking at it. The first bench is also looking at one more matter pertaining to the Archakas, and whether Archakas can, any caste, any community, anybody can come in. And Sheshamal judgment is very clear that there are only 28 agamas, of which 26 belong to the Shaivites and 22 belong to the Vaishnavites. So there are 28 agamas. Now they are writing their own agamas. Karnanidhi agama, Stalin agama, and there is Kanimudi agama. So everybody is writing their own agama, and people are claiming to have passed in that agama and trying to come in. So this hopefully the High Court will put an end to. But last but not the least, I was hoping Chandralekha ji will touch upon this. Like all Hindu families, traditional Hindu families, there is huge amount of division within the family, and it is Hindu divided family now. There is a power center with the sister, there is a power center with Stalin, there is a power center with the son, there is a power center with a son-in-law. So many power centers, each one pulling the other. And the police tell me that whatever little contact I have, that though the chief minister wants some sort of law and order, that the enormous pulls and pressures by the family. Previously, it was Karnanidhi who alone used to exercise power, whereas now it is multiple power centers that are tearing apart the police's morale. So there what we are witnessing is a complete breakdown of law and order at a very, very significant level. It is not just that some custodial death or some custodial beings there. It is the governor of the state who has been targeted, and so the central government must also step in. And last but not the least, the judiciary has also a role to play, and they are also to come in. And if push comes to a shove, we would be seeing something serious events that could probably explode in the next few months in the state of Tamil Nadu. With this, I will hand over to.
Thank you, MR Venkatesh. I would now request Sri Iyer of P Gurus to kindly enlighten our viewers and have his views on the whole episode on the attack on Hindus, the governor, and our national identity.
Thank you very much, Jagdish ji. And it's always a pleasure to be on a VHS Ganga Hangout.
Sri, we have a problem with your audio. I'm sorry, Sri, we have a problem with your audio. It's cracking a little bit. I think it probably is because of the Bluetooth headset. But anyway, we have a slight problem. Try. Just go ahead. If there's a problem, I'll let you know. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm not using Bluetooth for microphone. I'm using Bluetooth only to listen. I hope it gets alarmed.
Now it's fine.
Okay, I'm
Now
sitting
fine.
closer. Good. So I have been reporting on P Guru several instances of Hindu temples being destroyed, and these things run the entire gamut. And I'm very, very concerned that this government has total disregard for Sanatana Dharma and Sanatanis. And this person, VCK's chief, has said publicly in many meetings that his life ambition is to destroy Sanatana Dharma. Now, if any one of us, including Dr. Sawmy, says even something like anything remotely resembling questioning the assumptions or the existence of other religions in India, you know what's going to happen. And whereas this fellow still roams free. That is my first concern. The second concern I have is how can the chief minister allow alternate centers of power? I mean, that shows something beyond my comprehension. Then why is he the chief minister? Why don't you take rotation? At least the people know, okay, this week, Mr. Sabarisan is the chief minister. So all these XYZ issues will be in the front burner. The others will go to the back burner. At least our expectations are set right. And more importantly, I'm going to put a question for Dr. Sawmy by saying something or observing something in this particular governor attack. Dr. Sawmy, in the governor attack, the news that came the next day was the police as well as the party, DMK, said that nobody from DMK was involved in this. Nobody was involved in this. Second thing is they said the people were merely showing black flags, except in vernacular, in Dinamalar, I have the clipping that I'll be happy to share with the viewers. It's already there in one of my hangouts. I show that. The vernacular clearly said that stones were thrown and that the police had arrested members of these three parties. Dr. Sawmy, to the best of my knowledge, at least two of these parties contested the recent elections as under the DMK symbol.
Yeah, right.
Sir, my question to you is, you have told you are using DMK symbol for a VCK candidate. Why? Because you want the VCK candidate to be treated like a DMK candidate. So, how can the DMK now say that we are not complicit? The common man looked at the DMK Udayasuriyan Chinnam and placed the vote. Sir, I would like you to explain to the viewers, is there a problem because of this? Is DMK as complicit as the PCK Kachi?
Well, see, first of all, let me tell you, once you're elected, it doesn't matter whether DMK is involved or not involved. If law and order breaks down, whoever may be responsible, you as a government are responsible to put it right. So where is the question that DMK is not involved? Of course, you have also exploded it from a different angle. You're saying that these are DMK partners, and the CPM is, in fact, quite a de facto. They're close buddies. So therefore, to say that, and in these matters, the chief minister's office would get immediate wireless indication that this is going to happen, that people have assembled together and they are waiting for the car to come, and so on. And what was the chief minister doing? What was the chief secretary doing? What was the home minister? I think is the same as the chief minister as always in Tamil Nadu. I don't know, but at least the home secretary is there. What was he doing? So I'm concerned with the fact that they are treating this as some kind of a situation where there is no constitution, there is no binding requirements, that everybody can stand up for himself, and if VCK has done it, then you please prosecute VCK. We have nothing to do. It's your job as a police official to tell the authorities that these are people who have done, and we are going to arrest them, and let the authorities say no. So I think overall, we have to understand that the DMK is, as always, has never done what is called as governance. I have personally witnessed the kind of things that were done when we dismissed the Chandralekha government, dismissed the DMK government. The LTT people injured in their firings against when fighting the IPKF, the Indian soldiers, were given posh places in hospitals for getting their injuries rectified. I mean, they came to India illegally, and then Karunanidhi government put them in hospitals. And the same way, Mr. Karunanidhi used to hold briefing sessions for baby Subramanian and people like that, and tell them what the center has told them, and that they should take this care, that care, but this is what the center has told. So there was the whole concept of constitutional had broken down. So here too, we are seeing in a smaller way, we are seeing the constitution breakdown. So my question would be more like this: what is the BJP in Tamil Nadu doing about it? Number two, what is the center doing about it? I mean, they should have immediately reacted and called for from the chief minister a report and saying, please tell us what you have done and what where you are. The center's apathy to the flight of Tamilian Democrats is something so appalling that also needs to be highlighted. Yes, Jagdish.
Ramesh ji, you also have some Tamil background, so let us have your views.
Not some, in total.
No, I mean, Dr. Sawmy, thank you. This was fascinating. You clearly highlighted what the critical section of the IPC is missing, and so it is very important. And I mean, it is. I don't understand how the Governor's Council is not. I mean, is keeping quiet about all of this. It's very surprising that it is not. They have not issued a press statement for all matters. Why cannot they issue a press statement saying that we were attacked? We tried to do this, but it's not happening. So basically, the people need to know. Otherwise, what's happening is they're saying the police has taken action. Just as the FIR that you were talking, Dr. Swamy, we try to look it up. But if we try to look up the FIR today, it is saying the record is not available.
You mean
it's
online?
surprising that if you go put the FIR number and I put the police station, it says, it picks up the FIR number correctly. It shows it is Mayiladurai, but it says record not available. How is it possible? I'll quickly try to show it to you, see if that is working. Anyway,
Not available means it is disappeared to the court.
No, they can hide
I
it,
know
but
that,
they are
I
saying
know that.
record not available. I don't know what this means. You know,
Didn't upload it.
or probably they could have just blocked this particular FIR. You know?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know, then thankfully, Chandralekha was she was able to obtain it. But it is very bizarre to say that this record is not available. And for all you know, after the DMK, Ma'am Chandralekha or MRV can correct me if I'm wrong, the attack on Hindu temples has increased to a large extent after the new regime. I mean, I think what they are trying to do is, in my personal view, is they're trying to check how far can we push this. How far are these Hindus going to take nonsense? We're going to continue to discuss nonsense. Let's see how far they go. Because they've not touched, I'm not saying they should, they have not touched any other religious institutions. Why only Hindus, right? I mean, if you're saying that if you're an atheist, attack everything. Do you think the only temples are built on, they're claiming the Porambok land or something, then why is only temples that are being built that way? And what about all the other institutes occupying temple lands? So if you think that if a temple is occupied a government land, what about the temple land that the HR and CE administration is managing? How are you allowing other buildings, even a church, a school, how are you allowing those things to happen? Why didn't you destroy those buildings, right? It's sheer hypocrisy, as Madam Chandralekha put it out. It's absolute hypocrisy of the government. If you do one side, you say that, I'm going to remove all temples that's occupying government land or anything like that. Do that for the temple land also, which is under your administration, right? Yep. So it is apparent that whether maybe MRB hinted at that, Stalin has very little control over the riffraffs in the DMK, because that's the party, that is the nature of the party, full of goons, and he has no control. He's trying to do something else. And we have it's a multi-headed hydra that's running out there, and each have their own set of venom spewing system, and the easiest target are Hindus.
DMK stands for Tilumulu Karagam.
So it is shameful, but unfortunately, the Hindus in Tamil Nadu have no backbone. And even if they attack Brahmins, seriously, they are hardly 2% of the population, right? Why do you attack 2% of the population? Obviously, Brahmins don't have spines. They have no backbone. What they do is go by what they believe in. I'm not saying it in a negative way, but because they're an absolute majority, nobody supports them. Even their own kind. A lot of incidents are there that their own kind don't support you, right? They immediately say, okay, my sect is different from your sect, or my agama is better than your agama. We fight within ourselves. There is no unity. Sadly, when you talk about Hindu unity, the first granular level among the Brahmin unity doesn't exist. That is very sad, and that is why we have been taken advantage, literally.
Yeah. To support you is this. Padma Sheshadri school, only I
Absolutely.
came. Nobody else came.
Nobody.
And we were targeted because it's supposed to be allegedly a Brahmin school.
Dr. Sawmy, when Periva was arrested, we were the only person that came out, but not even one organization came out and fought and saying this is nonsense. Okay, everywhere, everyone was afraid. Oh, what will Jayalalitha do?
Yes, even I was told that she will do this.
And they are attacking, and even recently, I think yesterday, ma'am, and MRV, you can correct me, that in Vayalur Murugan Temple, was it Vayalur Murugan Temple, MRV?
No.
That Murugan Temple, somewhere the priests are being, that,
yes,
a 1-year-old trained priest.
It's Vayalur Temple.
Vayalur Temple.
Okay.
It is as good as a seasoned surgeon is being displaced by a guy who just passed out MBBS yesterday and saying they are equal.
No, not even an MBBS, by a quack.
By a quack. Not even a diploma level guy. You are allowing him to operate. How is that possible, Doctor? So would you allow yourself to be operated by such a quack? That's where it is easy, and they are trying to push the envelope so much. See how far the Hindus are ready to buckle. The moment we say no, we have to first unite and say no, then they will know the might. Because what they are very confident of is we are a bunch of goats or sheep, like what you said. We are Hindus, a bunch of sheep. One tiger is enough for 1,000 goats. That is the attitude that they have in their mindset today.
You mean Tamil Nadu Hindus?
Correct, Tamil Nadu Hindus. I'm just because the topic is Tamil Nadu. I'm just talking about Tamil Nadu Hindus in general.
Yeah. Well, Jagdish,
Okay,
I think we have hit the.
Arvind.
Yeah,
Any question?
since it is a Tamil Nadu issue, since it is a Tamil Nadu issue, I'll just make one mention here. Right from inception of this Stalin government, the government has taken an anti-center stance. Everything that Delhi does, Chennai starts opposing. This is Stalin's rule. Even for the NEET exam, they passed a resolution in the assembly, and none of the other Tamil parties spoke on this issue. They were totally opposing central government on the NEET exam, and they were passing their own rule that they will have their own exam. They will not follow the central government. BJP did not speak, or Anna DMK did not speak, or any other leader did not speak on this. One. Two, there has been a tradition of state government opposing the governor and vice versa. Starting from 1993, I remember when the Chenna Reddy was the governor and Jayalalitha was the chief minister. You know what kind of confrontation they used to have. And this history continues. And my third point, any other speaker can also react. This is not unique to Tamil Nadu. We have seen in Pondicherry, Kiran Bedi was opposed by the state government. The Kerala, Arif Muhammad Khan has been opposed several times. West Bengal, of course, we know that Jagdeep Dhankar and Mamata Banerjee have a confrontational issue, and whether it is several other states. So, I mean, my question to Dr. Sawmy, especially when he has so much experience in politics and parliamentarian issues, that should the institution of governor be banned or stopped or done away with? Does it serve any purpose?
Well, we are a unitary state, and therefore we need the representative of the center in every state. And so, to abolish governor's position would be to create a total disintegration of India. You may have incompetent people as governors. Well, you can have incompetent people as prime ministers also. So that doesn't mean democracy should be, scuttled. I think we should now start, raise public opinion to see that people of some quality, some ability are posted as governors, and not meek people. And I must say that the Tamil Nadu government and the governor's house, I'm not talking about the governor himself, governor's house has been extremely timid. For instance, even to give me a FIR copy, they said, officials in the governor's house said, oh no, you see, it's now a very sensitive matter and is now being regarded secret. I told them in criminal law, FIR is not supposed to be secret. It is supposed to make public what the police is going to do. So I am saying that is the problem. We have not educated our people on what democracy means and where you can take a stand when you cannot take a stand. And I'm saying to you that this is a problem which is all over the country today. But in Tamil Nadu, it has been running for the last 50 years, 50, 60 years. So let us then make the center. Now we should ask the center, please make your stand clear, and people should get up and speak. And what is the opposition doing? What's the Congress doing? Congress is too afraid that the DMK won't give them seats in the next election, and none of them will get elected. So this is the whole thing that has come down to. It's just a bizarre situation. We don't have a issue of law. We don't have an issue of constitution. We have a question of who can buy and sell more.
Dr. I think when you just mentioned it right when you asked the governor's council's office to give you the FIR, what is their sensitive? Because it is sensitive because they were not able to force the police to file. You mean 120? You said 123, right? Section 123. 124. 124. So they feel ashamed that they were not able to get into that. Maybe that's why they didn't want to.
No, they may not have. They may not have access to the document.
Oh, I mean, my
The governor's office is so helplessness. They may be not having access to the document. That only proves that.
Incidentally, I will tell you the one organization which instills some respect is in fact VHS. I mean, our chap goes to the police station all alone, and the police station gives him proper hearing and tells him what can be done, what not. And we got it. We got the FIR by the method described by Chandralekha. So why? Because each of our VHS people are ready to stand up for each other, and we are ready to go the distance. And that is what we need the population of Tamil Nadu to do. If they can stand up and support people who are willing to fight for them, and not just take the benefit and then forget about them, that rotten culture is got rid of. I think Tamil Nadu will improve overnight, because after all, we are one of the most educated states in the country.
Sree, you have some words, Sree?
Yeah, I know. I have a comment
go ahead.
I have a comment to make. Although we know the DMK government and the DMK guys or the ministers or the cadre are useless, when people voted for Modi government at the center in 2014 and 2019, they were on three important issues: good governance, Hindutva principles, and to fight corruption. Now in Tamil Nadu, just by blaming the DMK, some blind bucks are just interested only in blaming the DMK. But you are in power at the center.
Yeah.
The national identity is being challenged. The Hindutva principles are being challenged. And the good governance, which they claim Modi had good governance of of Gujarat, all that three has come into play. Dr. Sawmy has been saying what central government has, what type of powers. So it is also the central government to act decisively in the matter. The Hindus of Tamil Nadu are looking at the center for protection. And I think Dr. Sawmy is right. The BJP cannot hide behind saying it's a state government matter. It is time for them to also act decisively. In fact, I would like Dr. Sawmy to, he has already commented, but say something strongly, because he as a minister in Chandrasekhar's government, when the then governor was refusing to toe the line, Barnalaji, Dr. Sawmy should give us some example of what he did and how the central government could intervene.
Yes, that time the governor was the question of dismissal of the DMK government. The governor refused to put a signature on the document, and so he thought that once he refuses, no, I can't do anything. But Indian Constitution, drawn up by a large number of experts, led by Dr. Ambedkar, is one of the most astute constitutions in the world. There was one small extra line which says, on the advice of the governor or otherwise. So what does that otherwise mean? It means it gives you free hand. So we said, to hell with the governor. I went straight to the, as law minister, I went straight to the president of India at that time, Venkatesh, and told him, put your signature on this and we will do it. And of course, it took a little cajoling, but ultimately Venkatesh put the signature. And we dismissed the DMK government without the consent of the governor. So therefore, the constitution has got enormous power. But they must learn to use it, or have the guts to use it. Not think about whether in the next election the DMK can be a partner of the BJP. That should be the consideration. That, let's not alienate them, because then they may not come with us, or they may not help us in this or that. So this is the problem, the timidity of the Tamil people and the selfishness of the central government is responsible for today's mess in Tamil Nadu.
Thank you, Arvind. You will have to sum up. We are running out of time.
Yeah, thank you. Like every debate.
Arvindji, just Sri wants to say a few words and then you can jump.
Yeah,
Very,
sure.
very quickly. I'm kind of disappointed with this optics that is on being put on show. Dr. Swami, a few days before the Ayodhya Mandapam was taken over, Governor R.N. Ravi made a visit to that place. Same way, now instead of cracking the whip, why is Amit Shah just going and giving speeches in Tamil Nadu?
Yes.
So what do you expect him to do?
He's the Home
Then
Minister. Arvindji, he's the
255,
Home Minister.
256, all these are there. 356 comes later.
Yeah, 256 can write Amit Shah can write a letter to the chief minister and said, give me an answer to why this has happened. Hardly anybody has read 256, but I used it quite extensively in 1991 before we went through the thing. The power of the center to ask the state government to explain or show cause is in Article 256. There is a power in 247 that if it is necessary, center can appoint a district magistrate of a senior rank of the senior most district magistrate appointed by the state government. That means he can overrule the state district magistrates. So there are plenty of power. It's a unitary constitution. People have not read it properly and they go on talking about federalism. Where is the word federalism used in the constitution? Anywhere. Not at all. Because the freedom fighters knew that India is now coming out on its own after a very long time. We have to make sure that the country doesn't break up, and therefore they drew a constitution which was unitary. Not a
They're
word
trying to
of
push the envelope, Dr. Swami. That's exactly what the DMK government is trying to do. They are seeing how far do we push and still the central government wakes up. Let's see.
Yeah.
That's what
Yes.
they're trying. I'm going to push more. That's what they're trying to do. Arunji, go ahead.
Dr.
Okay,
Swami,
you
before
had a
that,
word?
Dr. Swami, please tell our viewers, because many viewers are having doubts, did Periyar not say that he doesn't want to be part of independent India and still wanted to be under the British rule?
Yes.
two things. First, E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar, known to many Tamilians as the Periyar, he had asked Jinnah first to make him part of the coalition in demanding separate country. And Jinnah told him, go and do your own work. Don't try to, ride my back. I will not include you in our front. Then he, on 15th August, and this is available in writing, in documentation, the E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar went to the governor's, it was called Governor's Palace that time, or Governor General or whatever it was, the title. He went to the palace 15th August and said, let the British go from every other state, but not from Tamil Nadu, please. He pleaded that. And they explained to them, it was explained to him that this is not possible because this is a decision taken by the British Parliament. So, yes, anyone who wants to debate on this issue, I'm ready. Anyone who wants citations, please go and do your homework. Go to even Google. Even you go to Google and ask, did Mr. E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar visit the governor, British Governor General or whatever he was called, on 15th August and say British should stay on in Tamil Nadu? You'll get the answer.
Arvindji? Ma'am, do you want to say anything?
No.
Okay. Arvindji, go ahead, conclude.
I think that two remarks are very important. One, what Dr. Swami said in the end about the E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar. So maybe DMK is following in the footsteps or the policy of E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar, number one. Number two, what MRV said, that DMK has its nature, and if they to have indiscipline, and DMK is continuing is true to its nature, and put these things together, and I think we have the today's scenario. All the four members of the expert panel today, they are all experienced in the civil life and journalism, Dr. Sawmy has been in parliamentary democracy for several decades now, and these views expressed by Dr. Sawmy, Sree Iyer, MRV, and Madam Ms. Chandralekha, they are valuable. And I think the DMK government, I hope some representative of DMK government is listening to this program or watching this program, and they should listen to the views expressed by the expert panel here, and they should learn something and learn how to govern. And this confrontation between the state government and the governor, though my question remains unanswered, maybe it is useful for us to debate some other time whether the office of the or institution of governor is required in India or not. Maybe in the light of the other examples of other states, maybe we discuss later. Thank you, Dr. Sawmy. Thank you, Mr. Sree Iyer, Mr. Dr. M.R. Venkatesh, and Ms. V.S. Chandralekha. Thank you, Jagdish. Thank you, Ramesh Swamy, for being with us in this program. Thanks the technical team led by Ashish Shetty, Gadgi Rakesh, Ishwar Iyer, Swaminathan, Tejas, Vishal Mehta, and Ajesh Nair. We'll be coming up with the next topic on next Sunday, 8 p.m. In the Word for Wisdom Gyan Ganga with Dr. Subramanian Sawmy and the other members of the expert panel. Sunday, 8 p.m. Be with us. Till then, Namaskar, Jai Hind.
Namaste, Dhanyavad. Vande Mataram.
Namaste.
The next document is a memorandum of understanding between the Department of Atomic Energy of the Government of India and the Department for Business Energy and Industrial Strategy of the Government of the United Kingdom concerning cooperation with India's Global Center for Nuclear Energy Partnership. This will be exchanged on the UK side once again by His Excellency Mr. Alex Ellis, British High Commissioner to India, and on the Indian side by Foreign Shri K.N. Vyas, Secretary, Department of Atomic Energy. Excellencies, this concludes the exchange of agreements ceremony. I now request the spokesperson of the External Affairs Ministry to conduct the proceedings.
Good afternoon, distinguished Prime Ministers, members of both delegations, friends from the media. We will now begin with the press statements. May I now request Shri Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, sir, to make his press statement.
Your Excellency, Prime Minister Boris Johnson, distinguished delegates, मीडिया के हमारे साथी, नमस्कार। सबसे पहले मैं प्रधानमंत्री बोरिस जॉनसन और उनके डेलीगेशन का भारत में हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में भले ही यह उनकी पहली भारत यात्रा है, लेकिन एक पुराने मित्र के रूप में वे भारत को बहुत अच्छे से जानते हैं, समझते हैं। पिछले कई वर्षों से भारत और यूके के संबंधों को मजबूत करने में प्रधानमंत्री जॉनसन की बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रही है। इस समय जब भारत अपनी आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव मना रहा है, प्रधानमंत्री बोरिस जॉनसन का यहाँ आना अपने आप में एक ऐतिहासिक पल है। और कल तो पूरे भारत ने देखा है कि आपने अपनी भारत यात्रा का शुभारंभ साबरमती आश्रम में महात्मा गांधी को श्रद्धा सुमन अर्पित करके किया। फ्रेंड, पिछले साल हमने दोनों देशों के बीच कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप की स्थापना की थी और इस दशक में अपने संबंधों को दिशा देने के लिए हमने एक महत्वाकांक्षी रोड मैप 2030 भी लॉन्च किया था। आज की हमारी बातचीत में हमने इस रोड मैप में हुई प्रगति को रिव्यू भी किया और आगामी समय के लिए कुछ लक्ष्य भी तय किए। फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट के विषय पर दोनों देशों की टीम्स काम कर रही है। बातचीत में अच्छी प्रगति हो रही है और हमने इस साल के अंत तक एफटीए के समापन की दिशा में पूरा प्रयास करने का निर्णय लिया है। पिछले कुछ महीनों में भारत ने यूएई और ऑस्ट्रेलिया के साथ फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट का समापन किया है। उसी गति, उसी कमिटमेंट के साथ हम यूके के साथ भी एफटीए पर आगे बढ़ना चाहेंगे। हमने रक्षा क्षेत्र में सहयोग बढ़ाने पर भी सहमति व्यक्त की है। रक्षा क्षेत्र में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, टेक्नोलॉजी, डिजाइन और डेवलपमेंट सभी क्षेत्रों में यूके द्वारा आत्मनिर्भर भारत के समर्थन का हम स्वागत करते हैं। फ्रेंड्स, भारत में चल रहे व्यापक रिफॉर्म्स हमारे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर मॉडर्नाइजेशन प्लान और नेशनल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पाइपलाइन के बारे में भी हमने चर्चा की। हम यूके की कंपनियों द्वारा भारत में बढ़ते निवेश का स्वागत करते हैं और इसका एक उत्तम उदाहरण हमें कल गुजरात में हालोल में देखने को मिला। यूके में रहने वाले 1.6 मिलियन भारतीय मूल के लोग समाज और अर्थव्यवस्था के हर क्षेत्र में सकारात्मक योगदान कर रहे हैं। हमें उनकी उपलब्धियों पर गर्व है और इस जीवंत सेतु को हम और मजबूत करना चाहते हैं। इस दिशा में प्रधानमंत्री जॉनसन ने निजी रूप से बहुत योगदान किया है। इसके लिए मैं उनका अभिनंदन करता हूं। फ्रेंड्स, हमने ग्लासगो में आयोजित COP26 में लिए गए संकल्पों को पूर्ण करने के लिए अपनी प्रतिबद्धता जताई। आज हमने अपनी क्लाइमेट और एनर्जी पार्टनरशिप को और अधिक गहन करने का निर्णय लिया। हम यूके को भारत के नेशनल हाइड्रोजन मिशन में शामिल होने के लिए आमंत्रित करते हैं और हमारे बीच स्ट्रेटेजिक टेक डायलॉग की स्थापना का मैं हृदय से स्वागत करता हूं। फ्रेंड्स, आज हमारे बीच ग्लोबल इनोवेशन पार्टनरशिप के इम्प्लीमेंटेशन अरेंजमेंट्स का समापन एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण पहल साबित होगी। यह अन्य देशों के साथ हमारी विकास साझेदारी को और मजबूती प्रदान करेगा। इसके तहत तीसरे देशों में मेड इन इंडिया इनोवेशंस के ट्रांसफर और स्केलिंग अप के लिए भारत और यूके $100 मिलियन तक को फाइनेंस करेंगे। इनसे सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स की प्राप्ति में और क्लाइमेट चेंज से निपटने के प्रयासों में भी मदद मिलेगी। यह हमारे स्टार्टअप्स और एमएसएमई सेक्टर के नए मार्केट तलाशने और अपने इनोवेशंस को ग्लोबल करने में बहुत उपयोगी सिद्ध होगा। फ्रेंड्स, हमने क्षेत्रीय और वैश्विक स्तर पर हो रहे अनेक डेवलपमेंट्स पर भी चर्चा की। एक फ्री, ओपन, इंक्लूसिव एंड रूल बेस्ड ऑर्डर पर आधारित इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र बनाए रखने पर हमने जोर दिया। इंडो पैसिफिक ओशन इनिशिएटिव से जुड़ने के यूके के निर्णय का भारत स्वागत करता है। हमने यूक्रेन में तुरंत युद्ध विराम और समस्या के समाधान के लिए डायलॉग और डिप्लोमेसी पर बल दिया। हमने सभी देशों की क्षेत्रीय अखंडता और संप्रभुता के सम्मान का महत्व भी दोहराया। हमने एक पीसफुल, स्टेबल और सिक्योर अफगानिस्तान और एक इंक्लूसिव और रिप्रेजेंटेटिव गवर्नमेंट के लिए अपना समर्थन दोहराया। यह आवश्यक है कि अफगान भूमि का प्रयोग अन्य देशों में आतंकवाद फैलाने के लिए नहीं होना चाहिए। एक्सेलेंसी, आपने हमेशा भारत और यूके के संबंधों को मजबूत करने के लिए विशेष प्रयास किए हैं। इसके लिए हम आपका अभिनंदन करते हैं। एक बार फिर आपका और आपके प्रतिनिधिमंडल का भारत में हार्दिक स्वागत है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. May I now request His Excellency
Thank
Right,
you.
Right Honourable Royce Johnson,
Thank you
Prime
very,
Minister.
very much. Thank you all. My friend, Prime Minister Modi, Narendra, my khas dost, I think is the phrase I want in Hindi. We've had a fantastic 2 days here in India. And yesterday I became the first Conservative Prime Minister to visit Gujarat, which is your birthplace, of course, Narendra, but as you've just said, the ancestral home of about half of all the British Indians, and I had an amazing reception, absolutely amazing. I felt a bit like Sachin Tendulkar, and my face was about as ubiquitous everywhere as Amitabh Bachchan. I was everywhere to be seen, and it was fantastic. Now this morning we've had wonderful talks, and I think that they have strengthened our relationship in every way. In challenging times, it is very important that we, the Casados, get closer together. And I believe the partnership between Britain and India, one of the oldest democracies, Britain is one of the oldest, I mean Iceland they say is older, but we're one of the oldest, and India, certainly the largest democracy, is one of the defining friendships of our times. And what we're doing is taking forward an ambitious 10-year roadmap for British-Indian relations that we agreed last year. It was great to see you at the G7, but since then, the threats of autocratic coercion have grown even further. And it's therefore vital that we deepen our cooperation, including our shared interest in keeping the Indo-Pacific open and free. So today, we've agreed a new and expanded defense and security partnership, a decades-long commitment that will not only forge tighter bonds between us, but support your goal, Narendra, of Make in India. The UK is creating an India-specific open general export license, reducing bureaucracy and slashing delivery times for defense procurement. We've agreed to work together to meet new threats across land, sea, air, space, and cyber, including partnering on new fighter jet technology, maritime technologies to detect and respond to threats in the oceans. We're extending our partnership as science superpowers and building on the collaboration between Oxford, AstraZeneca, for instance, and the Serum Institute of India, which vaccinated more than 1 billion people against COVID, including, I'm proud to say, I have the Indian jab in my arms, and a power of good it did me. So many thanks to India. And that has helped India to become what Narendra has called the pharmacy of the world. Today, we're embarking on joint initiatives on malaria vaccines, on antimicrobial resistance, and a digital partnership between the Indian National Health Authority and our NHS. We're also taking big steps together on energy security, helping each other to reduce our dependence on imported hydrocarbons and adopt cheaper, more sustainable, homegrown alternatives. And we have a new offer, a new plan to develop offshore wind from the Celtic Sea to Dhanushkodi. We've got a new UK-India hydrogen science and innovation hub, and we're taking forward the Green Grid solar power initiative that you and I began, Narendra, at COP26 in Glasgow together with 80 other countries. It's an incredible fact that the sun provides enough energy every day to power the world 10,000 times over. You have a lot of solar power here in India. The sun's putting on a fantastic performance today, but we have quite a lot in Britain as well. These partnerships form the superstructure of the living bridge that Narendra describes between our countries. And today, that bridge is humming with goods and services and people and capital, whizzing back and forth, east to west. And sometimes it can be hard to tell whether something is British or Indian or, frankly, Brindian. And on Wednesday, I went to the airport in a Range Rover, Indian-owned but made in Britain. And when I arrived here on Thursday, I visited JCB, British-owned but made in India, exporting 60,000 around the world, by the way, 110 countries. Or take the example of the Norton motorbike, now being revived in Britain by an Indian company. And I'm very pleased that this visit has not only deepened our economic partnership, we've agreed new deals worth £1 billion and created more than 11,000 jobs across the UK in everything from electric buses to the robotic surgery of Smith and Nephew, which I saw yesterday, as well as in artificial intelligence, where India's strengths are remarkable. And perhaps most significantly for the long term, we're making full use of the freedom that we now have to reach a free trade agreement, a deal where you can lift those tariffs, you can, India, Narendra, on our machinery and apples. Actually, you've already done it on apples, so thank you for the apples. And in turn, we can lift the tariffs on your rice and textiles. We've already closed 4 chapters, and today we're announcing new measures to make it easier to export UK-made medical devices to India and ensure mutual recognition of UK higher education qualifications. And as the next round of talks begins here next week, we're telling our negotiators, get it done by Diwali in October. Get it done by Diwali. This could double our trade and investment by the end of the decade, widening that living bridge into a multi-lane motorway pullulating with beautiful jointly made electric vehicles and creating hundreds of thousands of new jobs in both our countries. So, as India celebrates its 75th year of independence, I am filled with optimism about the years ahead and the depth of the friendship between our countries and the security and the prosperity that our partnership can deliver for our people for generations to come. Thank you all very much, and thank you, Prime Minister Modi. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Excellency. That concludes the press statements. Please remain seated as the dignitaries leave the stage.
80 सालों से 24 अप्रैल का दिन मनाया जाता है, पूरी श्रद्धा से नमन किया जाता है, लेकिन ये पता नहीं था कि ये भी दिन आएगा कि बीच में दीप प्रज्वलन, शुभम करोति कल्याणम आरोग्यम धन संपदा शत्रुबुद्धि विनाशाय दीप ज्योति नमोस्तुते। मंगेशकर परिवार एवं आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी आपके साथ बैठने आ रहे हैं। क्योंकि ये प्रधानमंत्री केवल देश के प्रधानमंत्री नहीं है, देश के लोगों के प्रधानमंत्री है। देवियों और सज्जनों, मेरी नजर में कम से कम एक मंगेशकर ने संगीत शिक्षा को प्राथमिकता न देकर परिवार की जिम्मेदारियों को बखूबी निभाया है, निभाते आ रहे हैं। आदिनाथ मंगेशकर पर्दे के पीछे लाइमलाइट से दूर अपनी फर्ज निभाते जाते हैं, और वो भी बखूबी। बल्कि उनका सिद्धांत है प्रोजेक्ट दर प्रोजेक्ट कि अगर काम सही हुआ तो क्रेडिट आपकी, अगर कोई गलती हुई तो वो गलती मेरी। आदिनाथ मंगेशकर युवावस्था से ही परिपक्व निर्णय लेने के आदी हैं। आज भी आप अपने पिता पंडित हृदयनाथ मंगेशकर की जगह संभाल रहे हैं। देवियों सज्जनों, स्वागत शब्दों के साथ आदिनाथ मंगेशकर।
Namaskar. A very warm welcome to one of the greatest leaders this planet has ever seen, our Honorable and most beloved Prime Minister, the truly one and only Gurudev Yugapurush, Shri Narendra Damodar Das Modi. A very warm welcome to His Excellency, the Honorable Governor of the State of Maharashtra, Adarniya Shri Bhagat Singh Ji Koshiyari Ji. I'm sure the audience will understand what kind of emotions I'm going through. It is so overwhelming to be in the presence of Gurudev, honestly. So, a very warm welcome to a galaxy of dignitaries that is here. There is an absolute galaxy of dignitaries present here. there is everybody from various walks of life, and there's such a large galaxy that I will simply say a very warm welcome, sirs, to all of you.